my filter needle, bending it back. I'm going to use a couple of needles, bending it back. A couple of needles, bending it back. So I'm bending everything back. And of course, it's easy to bend back if I find the right end. The bend backs are not near the tips, they're the opposite side. And see, they get crushed in a box like this. They're hard to bend back, but I'm bending everything back now. Every second in the hood counts to me. Got it? Every second in the hood counts to me. So double, triple checking, saving a split second. Maybe I'm not going to drop a syringe if I bend it back now. And I've bent everything back. This gives me a chance, also some chance to relax, okay? Now the guy says, are you ready to go in the hood? You say no.
Do that.
All right. Okay, check my list. I turn my list over. Now I see what it says, what to filter, what not to filter, how much to take. It's on the other side. I take my book. I can't leave my book open, but at LIU we have a spot that says candidate's exam paper. I can leave my book open and stop it. So I put the guy, okay, now the guy says to me, are you ready? Yeah, I pick everything up. I'm ready now. I pick everything up. Now, some of you may not have a book with you because you forget. If you don't have the book with you, you have to put the smallest items in your hand first because it's hard to carry. Okay? So I'm going to pretend I forgot my book. Flat items in my hand first. All these items. The bag goes on top because it holds everything. And I didn't bring my book because I forgot it. Let's say now I remembered it. I come to the hood and I'm going to lose points if I put my book in the hood. So I put my book outside the hood. The proctor is sitting right there. We can see right here. The proctor sits here and he says, you can set up. And he has this piece of paper which he has to write on. You have this in your books, the exam proctor sheet. He has to write on. So he's over there. He says you could set up. Set up means I could put everything down. All the ports face the airflow. The first item I put down is always the longest item, which is always the bag. The bag sets up the front line and the back line. It has to be 6 to 8 inches into the hood. In case you don't know what that is, it's about the size of the bag. So, size of the bag in the hood. Every item then goes on the top line. Okay? If I were to put this in the hood first, all the items would be like this, too close to me. Largest item in the hood first. So I want to get used to what I do. So I'm robotic. I like to put my water on the outside, my drug, my second drug. And I like to put my syringes here. And I'm lining them up, and the guy's watching for one thing, that all the ports are pointing towards the air. All my ports, okay? Now when I pick extra, I clutter my hood. But clutter is not bad if you're afraid something is not going to work out for you. Now I'm taking my time because none of this counts towards the clock. The clock has not started. I get this opportunity to line up my material. Now I like to be a little further in the hood than 6 inches, but not too far because I'll lean in, because I'm going to put my garbage here. Okay? And the last thing in the hood is the seal. Now you see, if you pick too many things, you run out of hood space. I could have started further over here, and now I look at everything, and he has one box to check. Is everything in the hood placed correctly? This is a correct placement. This is an incorrect placement. This is incorrect. Okay? This is incorrect. Nobody blocks anybody's airflow. Nobody blocks anybody's airflow. The alcohol swabs are at the end, so there's not a problem. They're piled on top of each other. The IV seals are at the end, no problem. They're piled on top of each other. This is the way they want it done. Okay, now he says to me, are you ready? And I got some things. And I say, yeah, and he taps this thing. And this one's not working there. And I got 10 minutes. Now, if you don't want to watch this because it makes you nervous, you'll just tell him, I don't want to know. He's going to tell me when there's 2 minutes left. But if it doesn't bother you, you can see how much time's left, okay? Now I have to start to swab my ports. I take each cap off, and I put everything back in the same place. Okay, the garbage goes here. If you put the garbage here, he's going to deduct points. Why? I'm not sure. I put the garbage away from where it is, okay? Then I swab. I don't try to turn along the line, I'll never get it done. I swab right in the center, I pull out the swab, and I swab in one direction, one swab towards me, not towards the hood. So I swab. I don't reuse a swab. I know some schools teach you that. And this is good swabbing. This is bad swabbing. This is bad swabbing. Because you leave hairs on the rubber, okay? So this is good swabbing again. Now, notice, if you didn't, I'm not doing this. I'm handing it off. Because I put my body in the hood. Okay? If someone's crazy about this, they'll get you for it. Okay? Now I take my last swab. I have extra swabs in case when I try to do something and I go to swab the bag, I touch the bag. I touch the thing because I made a mistake. Re-swab. So I now have to be careful. I'm running out of swabs, right? Can't be too crazy. Now I swab the bag. I place the swab on the countertop and the bag in case it touches the hood back on the swab. So the bag is always sterile. Now I want to add 10 cc's of water. So I take my 10 cc syringe, I look at it one more time, 10. It's torn back a little bit for me. I peel it down. All the guy is watching for me is to touch this point. Any other point he doesn't care about, okay? Don't do this stuff, it looks bad. Just touch that point, okay? Now I take my needle. He's watching me to touch the yellow point, and he's watching me to touch the white point. I show him, if I want to be a wise guy, I'm doing this right. Right? I tighten it with the paper. I take the paper off, but it's not tight enough because it'll leak. Okay, I separate the two, and I pull the air out of the hood. Okay, I need 9 cc's. I pass the 9, I go back to the 9, and I'm at 9 cc's. Okay, it's not this thing, it's the beginning of the black line, right? But don't do that on the test. 9 cc's. All right, I take it. Now I know I'm only going to go through this port one time, so I go for dead center. So I turn it. Now everybody has different visual senses. You do it any way you want, but you can't do this. Okay? If you have bad vision, you'll ask for a well-lit area on your paper. Now, when I push it in, I don't care what I get. I tap. All the air bubbles will be gone forever now. I have the wrong volume. But by tapping while it's going in, I have no air bubbles anywhere. Okay? While it's going in, I'm tapping. That's the wrong amount. I push back up, and now all my air bubbles are gone, and I go right for my 9 cc's. Okay? If I didn't tap, I'd have air bubbles all over the preparation. I have 9 cc's. I want to make sure there's no moving air bubble. No moving air bubble. I can't lose points. I take this out, and he takes it. And he looks at what I measured, and he gives it back to me. If he takes too long, he makes me nervous, but I tell him. I have to go in this file twice. So I have to aim for the perimeter of the circle. Okay, but not outside the circle. Because if you go through the same hole twice, it's called coring, you get a 0. So I don't want to be dead center. I want like a smiley face. Now if you watch me put it in, I didn't try to put it all in one scoop, but I put it all in. And here's where you fail the test. If you try to take it out with your hand on the plunger, you didn't let the pressure out. You have to go back to the same 9 cc mark, okay? That means there's no change in pressure. When you pull out, you'll get a spray back. If you stop in the middle of pulling back, you won't get a spray back. Let the rubber relax, okay? Now I got a bubble, because I went back and forth showing you something. This bubble is not going to make me do anything, but I know it's going to fall, correct? And it's going to drop in the hood. He's not going to write anything anyway, because there's no penalty. I put this down. Some people say, can you use the same syringe for the liquid? You can. Okay, now when I shake this, okay, I have to shake it this way, and the bubble will fall. But I'm not going to worry about it. It wouldn't have happened if I didn't show you. But I have to watch that this actually dissolves. If you're going to use a different syringe, this has been down already. If you're going to use the same syringe, you'll hold this, okay? Which when you hold it, they'll pull a little further back, so there's no liquid in the needle. So you spray the guy. Go back up to the 6 cc mark, okay? Look at your product that it's been mixed. He's watching for that. I gotta go back in, and what do I gotta take out this time? 6 cc's, correct? So I'm gonna put 6 cc's of air in, but I'm gonna be careful not to hit the same hole. Now, the plastic bottle, you notice, held itself, correct? Glass bottles don't hold themselves. So you got a problem here. You got to hold the bottle. Some of you are good at this. Some of you are bad at this. But now you're going to have to hold the bottle that it works for you. They don't want you to block the airflow. But if you block the airflow because you can't hold the bottle any other way, it's a very little deduct, okay? So let's not give up the test for blocking the airflow. Let's make sure we get 6 cc's in there with no air bubble, no matter how you could do it, okay? Let's not worry about blocking the airflow. I take this out. Now he takes this from me. Here's where the trouble starts. He takes it from me. And I have to filter this product. When I have to filter the product, I immediately go for the filter needle. Okay? If I go for the filter needle, what happens? I know that when he gives it back to me, because I'm so nervous, I forget the filter, I put it right in the bag. If I go for the filter needle, or I go for the cap, I should go for the cap, then I can't pick up the bag. Go for the cap for recapping. Okay? Not the filter, the cap. The cap that I took off. I go for the cap, it's in my hand. He gives it back, it's in my hand. I'm going to filter. I'm not going to put it in the bag. I'm going to filter. Here's where the bleeding comes in, this movement. He's crazy. Only one thing can move at a time. Make it the cap. Hold the needle, turn it in. Hold the needle, turn it in, okay? Turn it away from yourself. I don't cut myself. 2 things moving, I'm going to get cut. I got to get another needle. I'm running out of time because I'm talking a lot. I got to put this needle on, okay? I put it on, I make it tight. Now, no miracles, none of this trying to hit. Turn it to about 2 o'clock. So you can see, right? You can see the entry. Push it in. Enter the drug, immediately shake. Do not put this down, immediately shake. The purpose of shaking is not for mixing only, but it's for preventing incompatibilities.
About the filter.
Immediately shake what?
About the filter. You didn't filter it.
I didn't put the filter needle on? I failed the test. I was playing around talking to you guys. Okay, because I was talking so much, I changed needles and put the filter needle on. Is that what I did? Good man. Pretend I put the right needle on. Immediately shake. Okay? I did not put the filter needle on, talking and not paying attention. But that part of the product is done. So, did anybody miss that? I put another needle on. I didn't put the filter needle on, okay? So that was idiotic, but I wasn't paying attention. Then, of course, I'm trying to keep time. I got to add the other drug. Now I see 1 minute and 44 seconds left, okay? I know I'm getting close to D-Day, all right? But I know that if that alarm goes off, I can't start again. I lose everything, okay? But I'm watching, it's 125, I need 4 cc's, I pretend, and I grab drug C, I go into drug C, and I turn it over, and I tap the needle. I don't usually skip the filter needle, that was interesting. I tap the needle, and I'm running out of time, and now I say to myself, am I gonna make it? And I know I'm gonna make it if this guy doesn't take long looking at it, right? But he's also watching the time. I just want to show you how much time he has. He's going to look at it. Now look at the clock. He gives it back to me. I now take my product. I turn it to 2 o'clock. Okay? I push it in. And now there's 47 seconds left. Okay? Now I take my IV seal. I open this up.
You didn't shake it.
I didn't shake it, it's right. Now, I'm not worrying about shaking it now because it wasn't the powder, but I should have, okay? I should have shook it. And now I put this in because I'm fooling around a little bit. And my seal is on. He stops the clock with 27 seconds. You got it? The cleanup portion is not part of the clock. But I have to clean up correctly. All the sharp items, and this is the one he's watching for, the one I capped, has to go in the shot. Okay? Well, I didn't use the filter because I screwed up, okay? Now, all the other stuff here, I'm not allowed to go back. There's other students there. I take my 3 containers, these become mine, and the bag, all my paper goods. Now, don't do what I did. Remember the filter? I told you, people forget the filter. I forgot the filter. But again, I'd probably be more focused. I'll make an excuse for myself, I wasn't talking. All the stuff goes in the garbage. He automatically sweeps this away and keeps it. That's why he normally have extra supplies of what I forgot. When I forgot the 10cc syringe, he's got one. Okay, so he normally has no effort to help me. I leave the hood, so what happened? A drop fell down, I don't care about it. Meaningless. The filtering would have been a 0. I would have started over again if I caught me something. If I wasn't talking, I would have seen 2 filter needles when I was during the preparation. That's why I kept them together. I would have said I never filtered. Because I always pick the same thing. In other words, it's robotic, okay? It's robotic. So I'd have to say I want to start over. If I start over, everything goes in the garbage. He keeps all my extra. I start picking all over again. I don't pick pieces that I'm missing. The whole process begins from time 0. His sheet has an X to it. Nothing counts. He attaches it to the other sheet, so you can't say I did the beginning right and the end wrong on the first one. Doesn't matter. This first sheet is 0. It's there for proof that you made it over, but it has no value to you that you